see anything? Alright. Okay, broadcast starting now. Let's see. That over here. Oh, hi, Veron. How's it going? And I'm having a nephew coming over, you know, to be babysat upstairs, so chances are you might hear different voices, you know, on the hot mic. Let's see. Glad you also picked a rest day to do this. Well, I'm not at the gym. I guess it's just a coincidence, but you know the game was demanding I play on a Tuesday, so I don't know how long on a Tuesday, but it said at the for the entire duration of a Tuesday. So this is just a guess. If it's for a solid 24 hours, well then I'm definitely too late because I started the game technically at 12:35, 35 minutes after Tuesday morning began. So we shall see.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a...
I must ask, has anyone ever managed to read the screen in that intro? Because it looks like somebody took the trouble to actually write some interesting stuff and not just a bunch of computer gibberish. I had no idea. Oh, okay, I get the wink face now. Yeah, of course, because the British bloke won't shut up.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What could it mean?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, not touching that bucket. Staying away from that bucket. I must say that the new menu... Hold on, I need to drink some water in the morning. My morning throat is still on. Anyway, the new menu, it looks like a horror film. Well, a horror game. Winding and twisting hallways with the red aura everywhere. At least the computers and TVs looked newer. But nope, looks like I'm back to the old 1980s office technology.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I think it was the one on the right. Oh, you mean for not keeping away from the bucket, then?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Locked doors. Everybody and their mother is locking their doors. Let's see if I remember correctly.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Wait until I see the others. Oh dear. Okay, this one.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay, so if I stay...
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
That reminds me, I just watched The Courier yesterday for the first time. British spy biography. Well, not really a biography. It's based on a true story, and it's got that Cumberbatch fellow.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself.
Yeah.
To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting.
Wait, I thought the telephone was over here. I'm looking for the telephone later on. Let's see. Should be in this door, if I remember correctly.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your... Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone?
Damn right I did.
That wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible.
How's
Let
that
me
incorrect?
double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another.
No.
Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it.
Oh,
How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world.
No.
Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Oh.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Rupert has a choice. He could invent a machine that eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for all people. Or he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
Oh dear.
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making process. Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Welcome back. You may have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes ago and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
I was answering the phone the correct way. I mean, if I don't want to talk to the person because I know who's calling. Oh dear.
Now that we know your choices are meaningful, we can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
Worth reading again, I suppose. I hope I've not permanently cut myself off from being able to get to that other platform. That'd be a bitch. I still don't see any way to be able to reset everything. But of course, then again, I don't want to come through this place ever again.
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
Yeah.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh man, this guy really went the extra mile to, deliberately cut up all choices. He anticipated it. Well, the water closet has been cut off. Oh, office looks different today. Let's see, it's 2845.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Night Shark 115?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
I have literally only one button to say. I have nothing. I can't.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you?
I can't talk,
Please
you idiot.
speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise, we can't get on with the story. This is a crucial step.
You are such an ass. And not in the good way.
Okay, fine. You're not going to do it. But you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself, you coward. You behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yep.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
Oh, crap. Everything's going to hell here. I'm getting dizzy just looking at it. Anyway, I can't speak into the microphone because I can't talk in this game.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage? It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I... No, I have to. I have to shut the game down. I have to. I have to.
Oh boy.
I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever. Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child.
Yeah, well, the happy ending...
My story.
The happy ending is an illusion.
If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make... When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together.
Wow,
I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please.
I made it to an actual ending?
Choose.
This is not resetting. I'm having the ending credits roll.
Anything. This is more important than you can ever know.
If I look away, it looks like it's the actual ending.
So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait.
I wonder if the voice actor actually annoyed himself when
make sure your choice is correct.
This.
That is the best choice.
I know I would have annoyed myself.
That's all right.
Sorry, Leroy.
I'll wait for you to decide what's the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
Anyway, yeah, I've come to the conclusion that the happy ending is just an illusion because I still reset back here. And apparently the post-apocalyptic ending, where I woke up in a desert wasteland many years later, is also an illusion. I've got to get out of this thing. I'm a monkey.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
What's it called?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Bigger Infighters Committee meeting. Oh. Anyway, yeah, what was I trying to say? I don't remember what I was going to say.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beautiful room. What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room.
Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
Yeah, not a lot of dirty things happening here. They usually happen in the boss's office.
Yes, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh, nice to see some doors still open. Can't jump anymore. Oh, well, hello, Shirley. Let's see. Hope I don't sprain my ankle. Here we go. Oh, good. Huh. Managed to hold on to that little edge there. Let's see. Gently. This plywood holds. Just one single sheet.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? What about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Just call it Mini-Me. Okay. I found a Mini-Me. How do I get back? Oh, event. Let's see. And a crawl to freedom through 500 yards of foulness I can't even imagine.
Stanley had now gotten himself so far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun.
Oh, shut up,
so
Ray
far
Ron.
off the
Come
beaten
on.
path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had
Boy,
begun.
does this bring back
So far off the
memories.
beaten path that it
Cassettes.
seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had begun. So far off the beaten path that it seemed the office had...
Shut up. Thank you.
You didn't think I was actually just a recording, did you?
Damn.
What a silly and trite explanation that would be. All the back and forth between you and me, all the absurd adventures we've been through, and it all turns out I'm just a tape recording? It was all just in Stanley's head. I bet that's the kind of twist you think is revelatory. I bet each and every time you watch a movie where it turns out all to be in the main character's imagination, you must absolutely bolt off the couch in pure shock at the phenomenal and intricate storytelling. It must be so simple to be you. Life being an unending waterfall of surprises and delights. How much more exciting you must find the world than the rest of us do. Now I've become sad. Look what you've done to me. This is all your fault.
Wow, great timing.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Anyway, you didn't even give me a hint. Plus, I don't remember that.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I don't remember that.
This was not the
platform
correct
being
way
there.
to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
The ramp. I didn't notice the ramp before.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
All right,
Give me a chance.
Where's the figurine before he resets everything? It's got to be somewhere around here.
Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Yeah, I don't know how fast you type, but the message about the door on the right before the red and blue doors didn't appear until about 3 seconds after I had already picked up the figurine. So I don't know how fast you were typing. So you'll have to do the math yourself. Let's see, the red door, he said.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me.
Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time?
The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now.
Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
There, I stopped and... Okay, both go into the black abyss. The sweet release of death awaits. And no, there's no fall.
What do we want? What are we looking for?
Looking for my freedom. I have to get out of this illusion. The costume.
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Cosmetic not cosmetic, or maybe it is cosmic. Yeah, cosmic eternity. Do you believe everything you do ripples throughout eternity? Your life is a door. Although it is a spectacular light show, I admit that. Alright, let's sound back. I don't recognize those quotes. I put them on just for you, Veyron, just for you. I'm not your enemy. Trust me, I am not your enemy. I put those quotes on for you. Anyway, I don't believe in this impressiveness, so on we go.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Oh, sorry.
Right. Where were we?
You know, I can't be in here forever. It looks like this is going to be here forever. Is it gonna be here forever? Okay, walk out the door. Alright. So, no embracing this eternity. Let's go. I can smell the plaster. I can feel a dry heat in this area.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
How will I die climbing these stairs? They look well built.
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me.
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Oh. A literal dead end. I guess this is what they call, well, the self-deletion room. There's literally no way out. Bayron said, walk out the door. I'll walk out the door. I see the chat rate has been going up, but whoever else visits hasn't said anything. Kind of sad. Is there no other choice, Bayron? I can't jump.
No! Oh, thank God.
Oh.
You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room?
I've always died before, so you can't really blame me for hesitating. Ow. My thighs and shins are screaming their heads off. Oh,
There. See? This is what you want. This is where we can both be happy. We really can. If we stop moving, we just have to stop moving.
okay, I have literally stopped moving. Oh. I'd keep doing it over and over again. Just to show this idiot how
Stanley,
determined I am.
go back. There's nothing good that can come from this.
I just swear I was able to run faster than this.
No. No, no. What are you doing?
Do you just not believe me? What can I say to convince you?
Oh man, I accidentally had him interrupt himself. At least the self-interruptions are not as frequent as in Mass Effect Andromeda. I absolutely hated Mass Effect Andromeda for a million different reasons, and one of them was the constant self-interruptions.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room. Can you do that for me? My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly?
You feel like an unholy blend of Martin Freeman and Stephen Fry, whoever you are.
Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
It's too bad you don't like, you don't want to give those Dantix videos a chance, because the way the guy has the Mass Effect characters talking to each other is awesome. Even though he does the voices himself and alters them with the computer, the script is super accurate. I mean, I could totally picture the characters talking the way they talk in those videos.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
I can't turn off my own computer. That's kind of weird. Alright.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That looks like a clue. Go to the meeting room.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Aha! So there is. Where can we find them? Mission status. Places of search. Inside a secret exhibit. Check. Large room. Lots of boxes. Check. That must have been the room that I had the plywood. Had the plywood everything. Stairs. Something to do with stairs. Boom. Check. Near a fireplace. Which one was the one near a fireplace? A private but smelly place for an important person. The water closet, perhaps? It is private, man, smelly. Looks like 947. Ha ha ha. Profit. Collecting sexy. Possible clue. Water slide. Approximately here. Okay, try to clue me into the warehouse. .416. I think I may have passed 416. Trust the completionist instinct. Yes, that's why it takes me forever to play that's why it takes me forever to win even short games. I'm a completionist. Just tell somebody what happens. Plans to us. Sell them. I can hear my nephew running around. Guy's only 1 year old and making life a living hell upstairs.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Okay, so I was guessing correctly. The water closet. The bathroom, or, well, restroom. I need to stop saying bathroom. Because technically, well, there's no bath in there. Unless the shower, unless the boss does dirty work that requires him to take a shower in the middle of the day. There's the sink, there's the toilet.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anlarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anlarines. None of us can.
You actually can. In certain games that have collectibles, there's a way to reset the cloud memory, and you can go collect everything again. However, I don't think that'll help you get the achievement again. I can't go back. Anyway, 284.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Stairs I cannot go back to.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
You know what's weird is that the game deliberately doesn't allow me to hit the last number 5 as fast as the others. They give me a 1 second pause.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Hello to whoever else is on the chat room. Oh man, he disappeared. There was let's see, there was the concurrent viewers, just one. There's the chat rate of 1, and there's the views of 3.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Let's see what the woman's gonna say. I haven't done this.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I remember that squeeze death, but I think there might be a way if I follow other directions. There we go.
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
I am as confused as a homeless man under house arrest.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
But I got another chance. Either that or it's an illusion, like in that story where the, let's see, there was a short story that was written about a rebel spy of the American Civil War getting hanged from a bridge, but in the micro-split second as his feet were released from underneath him and the rope about to snap his neck, he imagines himself the rope breaking and running for his freedom and making into the arms of the woman he loves. And then it cuts back to reality and he dies. The French made a short video about it, and you can look that up, or you can look up the Twilight Zone, the original Twilight Zone, and Rod Serling will then present it as a Twilight Zone episode, a guest episode, you could say. And yeah, the guy talks about how I'm going to have a violent death, and yet why would this squeezed violent death be necessary? I should be splattered just from the fall alone. You can also just start over from the menu. I can't read the whole chat, unfortunately, but or the menu, and no, it won't reset everything or restart everything. I'm not sure what that means, but...
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
I'm glad to see the narrator having some kind of rival, whoever this woman is. As much as I don't like girl bosses, I'll take a girl boss just to relieve myself from this super annoying narrator.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Okay, so... I remember, I completely forgot this is the This is the way. Going through that escape route is the way to return to this place. Important to get right. Move. Make sure plan reach the 2 doors in a good time. So where is the start? Obviously, huh? Okay, this must be where I start. Although I don't remember having a desk this big. I'm sitting there, going along the way. There's the printer right there in the middle. Okay, the bucket should be right here. Okay, and then left and right here. 2 doors. Exploration of the contradiction this room posed. Oh, and by the way, the Crystal Key, despite being a forgotten game, it is still property of somebody, so I have to contact that somebody and beg them to please remake the game. Because it may have been a shoestring budget with lots of ripped off parts from older space stuff, like Stargate and Star Wars. It's still a pretty fun game, plus it has a very cool soundtrack. You should look it up. Bosses weren't the easiest to like. First one especially was like was such a bitch. And so you got another girl boss, another woman boss that relieved you of the first woman boss. Injection. Starting it would be too chocolate on the nose. There are people who interpreted Far Cry 4 as a game that makes fun of people who like shoot 'em up games, because the only way to get a happy ending is to literally not play the game at all. Zombie in an alien base. Very generic looking, kind of like the alien base in Subnautica. As cool as the Subnautica game is, I regret to say that the alien base is very generic, very boring. Long hallways and corridors with literally nothing to do. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, just a reset. Not picking up the phone at all, really? Huh. Different than unplugging it. Talk to me, Veyron. Is ignoring the phone the same result as unplugging it, or different? It's insignificant changes. Aha. I'll get back to that later. Huh. I don't blame you.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
So either blue ending or red ending. Nothing green about this choice. No environmentally friendly thing. Shut down, baby. Shut down. Sweet release of death.
Can
Or
you
freedom.
see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path.
That's how I did it. Well, she did say, hey, blame the bitch, not me, okay? She said how much they want to destroy each other, how much they want to control each other. It's not my fault that British dialogue tends to throw in two different things. Like in Fable 3, where that British author who's trying to hide from you says, don't go through that door, only death and insanity await you. Except, how can there be insanity if I'm dead? That's, kind of contradictory there. If I destroy the narrator, then I can't control him because he's dead. I destroyed him.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Alright, bottom of the stairs, bottom of the stairs, bottom of the ninth. Let's go.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Hey, why don't you post my videos on? Well, you don't really have a big social media presence anywhere. Ah, there you go. So what's this? There's access plank. There's one plank to allow keys of access post defense. Construct a bridge to allow collection of shining float. Retrieve Chris's remains from the warehouse floor. Construct a new structurally sound bridge. Am I a real person or not if they can just resurrect my body after picking up my splattered remains off the floor? What am I? There'll be a reward for finding them all. Really? Stop kidding yourselves. I want them so much. I want to go home. We'll be cleaning small eyes. Who are you? 666 LOL. Oh dear. Trolls. This place is infested with trolls. Memo from management. Anyone else who was here before me has long since disappeared. I'm guessing the people who were here before me, or perhaps I did, and I have no memory of it. And why are they all so unhappy? Is it because they feel as I do? Please do not leave the office room before making any advice to communication at great importance. Yeah. I've learned the hard way that all this talk of teamwork and how we're all a big one family in this office, it's all a lie.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Yay. How does this thing stop me from reaching? Here goes nothing.
And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here, and now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
So giving me congratulations is itself a reward, so you won't do it. Kind of reminds me of Veyron. Sheesh. I just need a drop of blood. Your blood. Instead of saying, ow, Myron, that
But
hurts.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
The first clock
And
is
at
off.
last,
It's the
he
minutes.
came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue.
The minutes are
He
always
just
supposed to be the
hadn't
same.
found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Anyway, Veyron, tell me what's wrong
Then
with these
he
clocks.
imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared.
I'll
It
give you a
was
hint.
so much fun,
Only the
and
first
Stanley
clock is
marveled
off.
that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be?
Oh, shut up. I remember it's just going to go on and on until he finally starts the game over. I've got to find my freedom out of here.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines.
Great optical
Just
illusion.
one more time.
Nice optical illusion that wall was. Anyway, the problem with the first clock is that it did not sync the minutes up with the other three clocks. Only the hours supposed to be different in different time zones, but the minutes remain the same no matter where you are. Anyway, yeah, Veyron. I remember once telling you, you once told me, may I ask you a question? And it was about Petrovsky or Palovsky or whatever his name is. And I said, yes, of course, but first I'm going to need a drop of blood. Your blood. And then I stabbed you in the finger. And then you said, instead of saying, Myron, that hurts, you said, how dare you try to clone me? How dare you try to clone me? And I told you that you messed up the line, and you said you would never give me the satisfaction. So, yeah, that's why I figured that you would never give me congratulations, because that would mean giving me satisfaction. See, gratitude changes everything. Gratitude is what makes the difference between a chore and a joy. I'd happily cook for my abuela, may she rest in peace. May God rest her soul, because she was grateful for my cooking. There's others, feel entitled to my labor. Freedom or not. I found the collectibles. Well, I would get to the point faster if the guy wouldn't quit interrupting. There are many things in this world that I absolutely hate with a passion, and one of them is being interrupted. And this narrator in the game really interrupts a lot. Anyway, so have you listened to the Crystal Key soundtrack like I asked you? Because this definitely has a very Crystal Key feel. This feels like the room where I find the first gate. The first force field gate, which, truth be told, definitely looks like it was ripped off from
Here's
Stargate.
where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
Well, to be fair, yeah, sometimes it says collect 6 of something, but there's actually 10 of them to be found. So you don't have to find the other 4. The other 4 are just thrown in there to help you find them all the faster. That's the way some games are. And case in point, right there. I already found more than there should be of it. Yeah, looks like I'm
And
back.
here was the second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest, back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways.
I wonder if he's got something to say for me collecting them all again.
Okay, let's do a little quiz.
The door opens.
Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini-stand? Can you remember?
I mean, I didn't have to grab it. The door opened, but I grabbed it anyway. Or maybe he would have said something if I didn't grab it. Door's closed. I grabbed this one first, I think.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here in the warehouse. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
I do believe you made that up. And even if you didn't make that up and some scientist said it, you have to remember, scientists are human beings, and all human beings are fallible. They are capable of lying, they are capable of making mistakes. They're capable of being bribed, intimidated, and even murdered into giving the right answers.
Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
I was never in here, but I'll take it anyway. So whenever people talk about, that they quote-unquote embrace the science, they're idiots, they're fools. Get this.
This was a 5th mini-stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the boss's bathroom. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Oh dear, a montage. An old-fashioned YouTube montage. Haven't seen that in a long time. $240p. I used to think that was so cool when I was little. Now it looks so blurry and ugly. the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I
Indeed.
spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
Yep. Good memories. But anyway, yeah, it's not really a bathroom without the the shower. It's gotta have a shower, and I imagine a shower would be necessary if the boss is the traveling type who I gotta quickly go to the building site over there on a hot, humid day, and then get back to the office to be presentable. So a shower and a fresh suit would be necessary. Either that, or if the boss is the dirty type who does things with his secretary. His female secretary, I might add. Just to clarify.
And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine. Right here, under the stairs. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Don't start retracting yourself. That's one of the things I hate about Fable. Anyway, yeah, Americans call it, the bathroom. But again, if it's the bathroom. But out in public, like at a restaurant, it's called the restroom. Whereas you British call it the lavatory, or the toilet, or the water closet, lavatory, toilet, and washroom, I think? Water closet. I don't remember. When I'm trying to make a list off my head, I have to repeat myself. Wait, is it blocked? It's blocked. Anyway, so the only one he didn't repeat was the red and blue room. I wonder what would happen if I went down that way. I can't reset.
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, Memory Zone.
Oh man, I thought he was going to do a now, we're looking at now joke.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the Memory Zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Now, we're looking at now. Everything that's happening now is happening now. Hold on.
Okay, yes, that spot under the stairs. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the Memory Zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more.
Alright, look, Vera and I have to, we're going to take out the basura. I'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. Alright, I'm back. Like I said, Veyron, I guess you weren't paying attention like lots of people do. I said I had to go take out the basura, the trash. The garbage. You know, it's a necessity.
And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Oh, wait, except... Did I turn around by
Yes,
accident?
I love that video.
Weird, I could have sworn I turned around. Weird.
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Yeah, for a baby girl, maybe.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have neutered the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
Oh, okay, good. At least now I know it's just a dead end.
This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
You just had to say it, didn't you, Veyron? Remember how I told you that certain words and phrases cannot be repeated in any way without me remembering them, spoken by a certain character? What did the dragon say to Bilbo when Bilbo took off the ring?
This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figlarines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
Well, it's the big one, ain't it? Yeah, there it is. So it's kind of funny, you know. Ah, there you are. It's very funny the way they have Smog say it. I was kind of disappointed with the voice though in the movie because
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I dare say I'm actually quite fond of it now.
actually
Look
it's
how
the
much
way around.
fun the past is. I want more. More memories.
Yeah, except yeah, sometimes time puts a rosy tint on distant memories, making things seem better than they actually were. But it also works the other way. In fact, one of the things that makes me the black sheep of my family is that time makes memories uglier than they actually were. Can you give me my jumps back? No? Oh well. Anyway, speaking of the voice of Smog, there's the, I remember the trailer to the second Hobbit film gave us a taste of Smog's voice, and it sounded exactly like Sovereign from Mass Effect 1. And then the movie came out, and the voice was different.
Oh, yes, the two doors. Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
So, do you like that particular British royal family? The two doors? Yeah, leading the same place.
And before everything else, there was your office.
Alright, now give me a
Is there
printout.
anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then, somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy, and I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good. I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Finally get out. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Time for the race.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Am I gonna make it? The 4 minutes and 22 seconds?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Thank you, thank you. Come on, baby. 4 minutes. Not including loading screens.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh man, I wish I had a stopwatch.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
I didn't even hit that button.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this
I know there's a good Twilight Zone episode where these people find themselves inside a room that has no doors.
blackness
Just a round wall.
and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command,
Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Beautiful English countryside.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Damn it to hell, no achievement.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall.
I was about to pick up the bucket and make some changes, but...
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I think this is where I first began to really hate the narrator, because his endless talking is why I keep failing the timer.
Here's the door, just go.
Time. I know I'm gonna be running this whole time. I probably wasted my opportunity to make that timer because I thought I didn't realize.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen.
Shut up and bring
Stanley,
faster.
one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided...
Do you know what a ham is, Veyron? I'm not talking about the meat. because this guy definitely sounds like a ham.
Blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know.
Go to Google
It
and
was
type
perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
ham and cheese acting, or TV tropes. Ham
Stanley
and cheese.
felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path
or
before
hammy
him.
acting. Yeah.
This was
Ham.
exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Damn. Move fast, fast, fast. Go, go, go. Wait, the phone's ringing.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct?
Yes.
Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Huh. That's different. Better not grab that bucket just in case. Guy's not talking. Good.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I just had to jinx it. Why? I was so happy to not hear his voice, and now he's talking again.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yeah, I never heard the phone ringing before. That's why I had to investigate. And
Coming to a staircase,
kill the timer.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Anyway, Veyron, please help me. I have to get out of here. Feels like I'm treading the same ground over and over again, which I kind of am. And oh, what's this? Maybe I have been here before. Don't remember. I think I remember going downstairs last time. Or Mass Effect did it better. It's not really the elevator, it's the elevator music I was talking about when I said Mass Effect 1 did it better. pisses me off to this day how other players insisted the elevators were no good. Back to where I was before. Okay, the screen's vibrating. I hear a loud noise, but am I actually going anywhere? Aaron, is there no ending to this thing? Oh man. So what if I hit the down button? Was that gonna change anything? So this is just an elevator simulator. Okay, down this time. Okay, so it's just a simulator. Huh. Anyway, yeah, there's a soldier, a ballet dancer, and a clown, and I don't remember what the other person was. A couple of other people. They find themselves in a big, round, white room. There's no door, just a tall, white wall with an open ceiling. They can't figure out anything. You know, they don't know who they are, why they are here together, or what. It becomes an existential crisis as to what they are doing here. Until finally they all get together, everyone on top of each other's shoulders, until all the men pile up anyway. Until finally the soldier's on the top, and he climbs out, and he's wearing the blue Yankee uniform of the American Civil War, a cavalryman. He climbs up and he's in utter shock and disbelief at what he's looking at. And then he falls. And then we see him on the ground. Not dead, but a toy. He's nothing but a toy. A little toy soldier. A little kid picks him up and puts him back in the bucket and says somehow the toy fell out of the bucket. They're collecting toys for charity in the wintertime because it's Christmas time. And that was the twist at the end of the story. And the narrator tells us that the toys, like us, just want and need to be loved. It's kind of heartbreaking. The little ballet figurina reaches out and holds his hand, and I think there's a bit of a tear coming out of the toy's eye, but they're just toys in the end. So, yeah.
Here's the door. Just go.
The timer. Okay. Run, run, run.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Whoa.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
So this is the shipments of happiness that I ordered. Well, that somebody ordered. Holy crap. They're everywhere. More boxes in there too. Whoa. 4,000 extra boxes.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door and this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. Then the feeling went away, and he felt sad again. Then it came back, and lingered for a minute or two. Now it's only half there, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I don't see any extra boxes in here. Let's see. Gently, gently, gently. Just gently get down here. Alright, perfect. And there we go.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Oh, come on.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
That's not what happened. I can actually get down to an elevation.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, the confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find out. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Managed to make it through.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
We're going to escape together, Wilson. Come on, Wilson. Just you and me. We can do this.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to themselves. The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine. Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind. No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world. At this point, he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to call this bucket Wilson.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over? Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate. Stanley wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
I don't even know how
True,
to
it was
watch
a
movie in
simple life
reverse.
they envisioned, but it was one they'd lived together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and to...
Uh-oh.
What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket, needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms, not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room, but at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I? Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
I could not free myself with Wilson. And hey, that's an idea. Stanley Wilson, you know, Stanley.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket in his arms again, he was home. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Danger everywhere. Alright, following your instructions, Farron.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, "No buckets past this point." Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point.
Well,
which,
it's,
if
has
that's
an
true,
illustration.
well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket.
No, please, not another
Please,
video.
step in here for a moment.
Not another educational video. Oh dear.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
Is this a fashion
Okay,
show?
let's begin.
Or where's the metal? There should be a metal pole right here.
Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Oh, you jackass.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
can't get off.
Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Is this 3rd time's the charm, or 3 strikes I'm out?
Correct. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket?
This better not be a slang term.
Correct. This is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one.
You asshole. Another
Is
tractor.
this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Oh, it's a tractor that identifies as a bucket, I see.
Item 6. Is this a bucket? Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Well, Charlie
Stanley,
is.
I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Okay.
No.
Here we go.
Please don't. I like this bucket. Don't take Wilson from me.
What happened? Is everything gone?
It was
Why did everything disappear? Wait,
the will of
was
the bucket.
everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either.
By the
Oh,
way,
this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue. But it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what. I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
what a bucket of crap. And for your information, it's not really a bucket, it's a pail. And I don't mean the white
All of
ghostly
his
color.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had...
Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone again, not truly alone, not with the bucket around. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
Okay, by the will of the bucket, I stay here for a little bit.
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right,
then walking to the lounge, then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
Coffee and nut.
No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Alright, by the wheel of the bucket. Let's go over here.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore.
What's a good one? What do you mean?
The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
I have no idea what a reference that is to. Back to a blue office.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off, Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
Now remember, Veyron, the bucket is waiting to get back to its owner. It wants to be filled.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
It's too bad you can't remember
Stanley took the door on his
that I
left
said
to go back to the meeting room.
that made you laugh, because...
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else.
Your
The
response is
cargo
so slow.
lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Is that what I said, or are you telling me to stop? Because I'm super confused, Veyron. This game is confusing, and your laughter is confusing because there's such a long delay between your posting and my reading that I... Oh, what a bucket of crap. Okay. Yeah.
In here, said the bucket. Go into this dark room over here. Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh, obeying blindly.
Now pick up the phone, said the bucket. Pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Alright, I never went to go see her with the bucket.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
I almost thought that said jizz music. Oh, thank goodness it didn't. You on the couch watching TV? You work with you.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders.
No
Whatever
shit,
Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Buckets. They've been shaped to say they recolored to look like buckets, except I don't see a bucket here. I don't want to go back to work.
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think. It can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Well, it does other things. It can... The loud man.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket.
It's midnight
You know,
now.
once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
It can transport little things as well, physical things, solid things. That's what I meant, not just liquid. And it's useless for liquid if it leaks.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket.
The bucket
Well, I'll
doesn't
give it
annoy
this.
me to
The
death,
bucket
like-
does have a nice shine to it.
Yeah, of course you're real. I'm holding it in my hands.
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid.
Come on, Wilson.
Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
No, bucket. Are you trying to deceive me? Are you betraying me? I want to get out of this nightmare.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? Oh no, I'm having feelings for the bucket. No, 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 no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps, if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation.
Too open and wide and, loose. That ain't right at all. Can't set my alarm.
Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it, or I'll...
Oh, no. There's gotta be a way for me to be able to get out of here. Not to win my wings, mind you, just... it's been, according to this, 2 hours and 3 minutes. I need to sit down and rest. Go to menu. That way I can relocate the mouse and stop the broadcast now. Oh. Epilogue. Okay, before I shut this broadcast down, let's do this epilogue. Of course, I'm not going to quit the game because it's still Tuesday and Tuesday's not over. Narrator went full Boromir. Boromir, though. What again? Let's see. Oh, there. Okay. What do you mean, there it is? You mean the epilogue was supposed to be there the entire time? Have I finally found my freedom? Freedom. Now the question is, where's civilization? And why does every mountain look the same? Alright, this looks like morning, so in that case, that's east. That's north. What the? Oh. Sad I don't have my bucket, but it'd make a nice coolant for my head. Wear it as a hat. Actually, it'd probably heat my head up. Can't get any closer to the fire. Oh, they're chairs. Last 2 hours I've only had one viewer, and that was you, Aaron. I do appreciate it. Oh, the moon looks so giant from the side. I feel like I'm watching Soylent Green again. Escape pod? What escape pod? Please don't interrupt, please don't interrupt, please don't interrupt, come on. Finally some shelter. And that goes nowhere, so looks like I got no choice but go. Slippity slide. Hippity hoppity boppity bump. It's a story I read when I was little about the bird that ate too much. What made the first game enjoyable veers into an eternity nobody has an infinity deep hole. Wow, so is this real? The guy who made the first game hated this game that I'm playing right now. There's actually a cartoon of a cat dog. I remember watching it dubbed in Spanish in Mexico a few times. There's one episode where they get fleas, and so they both fight over the flea collar because the cat half does not want to take the flea bath.
Jim.
Wait, have I been here before?
Jim.
It's just the buttons. Oh, the buttons are like those inexplicable bioluminescent mushrooms I find in caves that light the way in both The Witcher and in Skyrim. Anyway, I still have no idea what this escape pod ending is.
Jim.
Jinx, permanent Jinx. Oh no. I'm back here. I shouldn't have pressed it. I pressed the button because I saw the red light. I thought I had a message to you. No, don't tell me. Thank goodness. I'm going to tell you the franchise. Until the sun explodes. Okay. Burn. Normally with different franchises, yes, I would absolutely demand that we save the legacy. I'd be disagreeing with this guy, but in this particular instance, I have to agree because the narrator is driving me crazy. I gotta get out of here. And I will still say this, my dear friend Veyron. Televazir deserved better than what she got. She was utterly, criminally wasted. Pocket of Scorpion, no more. Explosion. Get me out of here. Infinite water, like Subnautica, maybe? Let's do that. Alright. I'm back to the main menu. Alright. I'm going to end this broadcast now because I'm exhausted and that's not good. I'm burned out. Bayron, I'm glad you were watching, and I really do hope that YouTube stops screwing me over and lets other people view me as well. You all take care. You wish I picked yes. Oh man, would that have gotten me free? Anyway, I can always do the epilogue again, so... Alright.